Hey guys, welcome into the Starcastic Mark Studios. My name is Ryan, along with Chris. We are Starcastic Remarks. We follow the Dallas Stars for THPN. This is the after game review for game number 66 against the Anaheim Ducks. Stars almost lose it by a final score of 3-2. They do get the 2 points here in tonight's game. And this is the second game of a back-to-back against the Anaheim Ducks from last Tuesday and now this Thursday. Well, I guess it's Friday now, technically speaking. But anyways, Chris, how you doing? Doing okay?
I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's exactly how
Like we got 4 points, but I'm not happy about it.
I. All that matters is that you get the 4 points, right? I mean
Yeah, you
that's
don't
the
ask
only
how.
right. They That's the only thing I can take out of tonight's game and the positivity out of all of this.
Oh man.
Because, man, I was scared for a second.
Well, I'll take some more positivity. The first 2 periods we dominated. I mean, we took care of business. The Ducks weren't
Did we
good
really,
at
though?
all.
Did
Yes,
we
we
really?
outshot them by 1,000,000, outchanced them by 1,000,000,000, and
By
just
a billion.
nobody wanted to score. Literally nobody. And I wonder what player could have helped in the
I
scoring
knew you were
department.
immediately gonna go with that.
Open it up, Ryan, with the pregame news that everyone was talking about.
So we'll go ahead and mention this. This is from my my iPad, right? And I just need to write. I'm gonna write iPad up here at the top, real quick. Yeah.
There you go. Really cool iPad.
I'm gonna write iPad Air. There you go. Right on camera there.
That's the unreleased 7th
iPad
gen.
Air. This is we're gonna call it the primitive edition. In the first period, before the first period would start, they would mention that Lindell would be out with an upper body injury, and Hanley is in, and also Sekera, which would prove out to be a good thing. And then nothing else.
Yep.
I'm just kidding.
No other news.
Gurianov is out, and Stu Denich is in for Gurianov. Go ahead, Chris. Open your can of worms.
I mean, Bones is just a liar. I mean, he was asked about it in pregame press conferences, and he says, well, Gurianov, he's not a defensive guy, and man, he's just not producing. Well, I can think of a really important producing that he had very recently as last week against the Edmonton Oilers, where he had the game-winning goal. And then 2 games before that game, where he had a very big goal. He had the first goal of the game against the against the New York Islanders. But I mean, he's not producing. He just never does. But you know who is producing? Alexander Radulov. Let me read off this stat line tonight. Alexander Radulov, 0 goals, fire emoji, 0 assists, sweating emoji, no points, fire emoji again, -1 on the night. That is sick. 4 penalty minutes, not 1 penalty. He took 2 penalties in the same game. He had 2 shots on goal, and that's it. Oh, my bad. He has a takeaway, apparently. I believe that, totally. Because this scorekeeper was just great. I mean, the Stars definitely only had 9 blocks, and the Ducks definitely had 22. That is accurate, 100%. Right. And the hits are definitely 23 to 26. Very accurate.
Oh, and the giveaways and takeaways are 100% accurate.
Yeah, those
on both sides.
Definitely make 8 giveaways per team. Yeah, that sounds right.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds correct.
Especially in the first 2 periods, right?
He's
100%.
He's just wrong. I mean, he's saying Gurianov isn't producing. That's just an outright lie. It's just not true. Is he just not looking at stats before he says crap like that? Is he just literally talking out of his butt? Because that's what it seems like.
That'd be very interesting if he was talking out of his butt.
We have Radek Faksa, who is doing no offense ever.
That's not true. He had a goal.
He had a goal. He did have a goal. A miracle goal. Boy howdy.
Boy howdy.
But man, I can't stand these decisions. If he is our coach next year, I am going to lose my mind. Like, seriously. It's just not true. He just says untrue things. And the fact that Radulov is still playing and still playing the amount of minutes that he does is ridiculous to me. I truly don't understand it. I mean, he's literally only hurting the team right now.
I perfectly understand it. What does Bonus like, and what does he not like? He likes defense.
Likes old people.
And he likes old people. He likes the veterans. And he doesn't like the young guys, and he doesn't like offense.
You want to know another idiotic thing? Miro Heiskanen, on Note by Doctors, make sure you limit his minutes, because if he overdoes it, he could get sick again. Guess how many minutes he has tonight?
26.
Guess. 27, 23. 27 minutes and 23 seconds. How's that for limiting his ice time?
That one I can't put on Bones because Miro asked for it. He's like, "Give me, I want more minutes." That's literally what he said.
If the doctors say no, then you don't do it. This guy is a buffoon. They're terrible decisions.
Do you want to get back into the whole Peterson conversation too, and why Peterson was scratched? Because Peterson shows up on the score sheet again tonight,
and he scores all the time. Yeah, secondary assist on the first one by Suter. Yep. He's all over the ice. Great scoring chances. Let's see if he had any shots. Just the one shot on goal from him, but that was that huge chance in the second period. So I don't know, man. I guess Peterson only gets 12 minutes and 25 seconds of ice time too, while Radulov gets 13:40. Faksa gets 16 minutes and 18 seconds of ice time.
How much of that was on the penalty kill?
3.
So that's about the same as Radulov. And Radulov doesn't pay, or Radulov doesn't pay. Radulov doesn't kill penalties, and neither does.
How about Tyler Seguin? Tyler Seguin, 12 minutes, 38 seconds total ice time.
That makes no sense. It doesn't, and I mean, and we talk about that, but again, Sagan's not scoring either.
He's doing better than Rads is. He's not taking 4 penalties and getting a -1 on the night.
He had 2, Chris. He had 2.
4
they were the same freaking thing.
Sorry.
They were the same freaking thing too. But I just don't understand the coaching decisions when it comes to Bonus. Sometimes
they're wrong, and when he explains them, he just sounds dumber. And like literally, go look at Saad. So Saad Yousuf is the one who's asking him these questions, and I'm loving Saad for finally, like, he's the only media member right now that's asking him why he's doing this, because he never has good answers for it. So I love Saad for doing that. We had him on the podcast because he's amazing. But he asked these questions, and the answers he give are just nonsense. They're really nonsense. It doesn't make sense.
And the other thing that kind of hacks me off a little bit is that second line of Seguin, Gurianov, and Peterson was looking really good. And then, Nemestikov comes into the mix, and he throws Nemestikov on the second line and scratches Peterson. I don't get that decision. I don't understand that. I mean, if you're going to have somebody come in on a deadline deal like that, the guys should be coming in on a third or fourth line. And I mean, other than the exception would be like maybe like a Giroux, a Claude Giroux or someone like that. But he's totally screwed over that line. That line was doing next really year, well.
We're gonna have at least 2, maybe 3 rookies next year who could be extremely good, who are very offensive minded. Imagine if Stankoven comes in and he just isn't played; he's just healthy scratched. And like, I feel like that's a total possibility if Bones is the coach. Like, honestly.
I don't think he makes the NHL next year.
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding. I don't think he makes the NHL next year. And if Bones is the coach, I don't want him in the NHL. Right?
I'll take almost any bet that he's in the NHL.
You would put Stankoven in there before Wyatt Borg?
Yes.
Or Wyatt Johnson, excuse me?
Yes. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
And wow. Okay.
Just his McDavid-esque ability. He can take over a game.
And we also have to be careful because, let's just go ahead and get into this because this is a good conversation to have before we get into the game summary. The Stars prospects in the Canadian hockey leagues, aka the major junior leagues, each guy is leading the league in points per game. And they're all Stars prospects. Yes, it's 3 guys.
3 league leaders.
I don't know
in junior leagues.
I don't know who's in what league, but I know that in each league, that we have 3 prospects that are leading the league in points per game. One of those is Logan Stankoven, like you just mentioned. The other is Wyatt Johnson, I think. Johnson?
I
Wyatt
don't know.
Johnson?
I can't
And
remember.
then the third one, I believe, is Maverick Bork.
I think that's right.
But I'm not so sure about that last one. But either way. And then we have Antonio Stranges, who's just, putting up highlight reel goals like it's nothing. But, you have to be careful when you compare how those guys play in those leagues because they're playing against boys. It's not the same. It's much less the same. I like the enthusiasm for the 3 guys, and I'm not saying that they won't be good in the NHL, but we got to calm down the expectations a little bit because we don't want to rush them into the league and then they become, bad like a Carter Hart or something like that.
Who else did we say that about?
Who?
Otter.
Otter
was in the AHL to start the year. Everyone said, "Oh, he needs one more season to season him up." You were on board with it. Don't act like that. You were on board with it at the beginning of the season.
And I was wrong.
You were wrong. I was screaming. I'm still screaming.
Internally.
Look how right I am, everybody. Everybody like this video for me being right.
Yes, exactly.
But no, you're wrong. This is a young players league. All 3 of those guys better be in the show next year, to use baseball terms. But let's go into the hockey game now.
All right, let's
we're
go
done
ahead
with
and get
coaches.
into it.
I'm done with coaches for the rest of the podcast. I'm tired of talking about him because it's not going to change until the end of the season.
We can still criticize his decisions.
By
the way, if you are curious about the questions that Saad asked Rick Bowness, they are on his Twitter feed. So I would strongly encourage you to go and look at those because they're very eye-opening. And some of the decisions that he makes are just... We're not going to get back into it. Anyways, in the first period, we already mentioned Lindell is out with an upper body injury. Hanley and Sekera are both in. Gary is out. Studenic is out. And the question was asked, why is Sekera in instead of Harley? And this was the one coaching decision that kind of made sense. And it was because Sekera can kill penalties and Lindell kills penalties like crazy. That's the one decision that I was like, okay, that makes some kind of sense.
Yeah.
And it paid off tonight, actually, in the offensive game tonight too. Which who would have known?
Nobody, not even Sekera.
Yeah, no, not even Sekera. Yeah, and even then, it wasn't even a good shot. It was just a flutter puck, I think, is what Razor said. 19 minutes 11 seconds. My first comment I made in the first period. Hence, fans on a chance after 2 Anaheim turnovers, and I continued with the very next comment. Lots of turnovers by Anaheim. They were just basically giving us the puck.
I mean, there's only 8, so I don't know what you're talking about.
There were way more than that. 6.5 minutes into the first period, it's 3-0 Dallas in the shot department. There was a good hit on Radulov. Radulov got destroyed in that play. The Stars would get their first power play about 8 minutes into the game. It was interference on Lundestrom. And the Stars would capitalize literally about the halfway mark in the first period. Seguin would get a shot from the outside, and who would have thought? Again, the offensive-minded defenseman Ryan Suter gets the rebound, creeping down from the point, and makes it 1-0 Stars. What do you think?
I mean, I thought it was a great play. He kind of followed up what his pass was doing off that, and he kind of saw that the rebound was going to come, and that's totally a veteran play right there by Suter. Like to read that well, what's going to happen, and to creep down low. I was impressed by his hockey knowledge on that play. It was really cool.
Hockey IQ.
There you go, hockey IQ.
There, that's the word you're looking for.
And a good power play overall too.
And it was a good power play. It was a very decent power play. Here's the frustrating thing for me though. One of the comments that was made after that goal is that Ryan Suter is leading the Stars defensemen in goals with 6. And now half of those on the power play. We have John Klingberg and Miro Heiskanen and Esa Lindell. Now I know everyone's like, Esa Lindell. A couple years ago, this guy, a couple years ago, the guy scored over 10 goals. It was a career year for him, but still, he can put the puck in the net when he wants to. Why would that be frustrating to me, Chris?
Coach.
He's turned our offensive weapons into nothing. And both of those guys should be, leading the team in points.
Yeah, and there's a
And at the
common
very
denominator.
least, should have more goals than Ryan Suter. I'm sorry. I love Ryan Suter. He's doing really well for the Stars this year, especially defensively. He's eating up huge minutes considering he's 36 years old. We should talk more about him.
We're getting
But
what we paid for.
right. Well, I would think we're getting more than what we paid for considering the amount of minutes he's playing. That's my thing. I would not expect a 36-year-old to be playing that many minutes.
Well, we're gonna be
But
paying him $5 million when he's in his 40s too. So
I guess it's true. But whatever. Anyways, that was the frustrating part for me. He was like, I was like, yay! And then they said the stat, and I'm like, oh.
a lot of that in this
And
game.
yeah, I know, right? Exactly. I was trying to be positive through the game because I'm like, we're kind of winning through most of it, and I feel like we're still going to win this game. But I was like, even at the end of the second period, but I was still kind of like, really, guys. Anyways, Sonny Milano in that first line for Anaheim has been really good against the Stars. Yeah, the past 2 games, they got a lot of chances, just not high quality goals. But anyway, Sonny Milano would have a chance after beating the icing call, and then I wrote this down: Stars are not even getting scoring chances on any of these turnovers, especially in the first 10 minutes of the first period, and that was the most frustrating thing for me.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of the times in that first period, the turnovers that we were getting, we were just kind of firing and not really thinking. So I'll agree with that, at least in the first period.
I didn't think we were doing anything with them, not even firing shots. It was like most of it was kept to the outside, and it was kept to the outside just because the Stars were passing to the outside, not because Anaheim was forcing us to the outside. Their defense was not good tonight.
And like we've talked about, the Stars score in the center, and that's pretty much it. We don't have very many guys who have a wicked shot. We pretty much score from the slot on every single goal.
Right, and that's even from the shots that come from the point.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're rebounds, right?
Then,
That's and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I'm not complaining about that.
But if that's the only way we score, that's where we have to go.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly the 100% truth right there. 5 minutes remaining. Pavelski would have a chance. It was a great save by Gibson. And actually, before that, I should write this. Zegras tries to go 1v3, and I was like,
he almost got free.
I know he almost got it.
One
and
more
I was
move,
like,
and he would have been there.
Man, he's a guy that I love to hate because he's so good. He's so creative with the puck.
He's just like McDavid. It's just like he just doesn't execute as often.
Yeah, that's true. And when he does, it's amazing.
Yep.
Anyways, minute and a half would go by, 3 minutes, 43 seconds remaining, and the shots were 11-3 Dallas, but it didn't feel like it. Did you feel like that?
To me, it felt like we were controlling the game. It didn't feel like we had a lot of great chances, but it did feel like we were controlling the game.
It just felt like to me that Anaheim is a bad team, and the Stars were playing down to down to them.
I felt like we were more skilled than them, and they were not playing well.
Yeah, they were not playing well, and we weren't doing anything with anything. I mean, that's what was literally it. But anyways, there was an awkward bounce off the boards from a Hanley shot, and it almost got past Gibson, and that wouldn't be the only time that would happen tonight. It would happen to our goalie. Foreshadowing.
What a great storyteller.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what you pay for on Starcastic Remarks.
Yeah, it's not like you get this for free or anything, right? 3 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in the first period. Hanley would take an interference penalty. It was the first Anaheim power play. There was some really good penalty kill work by one player in particular that I liked. It was Michael Raffl. I mentioned him, and I don't mention him enough, especially when it comes to
mention him enough.
Well, on the defensive side is what I mean. On the defensive side of the game is what I mean. The Stars would kill the penalty, and then I kind of put about 15 seconds later, Anaheim just could never get set up, which was good. That's exactly what you should do if you're the Stars.
And I will give that to those 3 guys because I give them a lot of crap. They did very well in the penalty kill tonight, which
who are honestly, the 3 guys?
I don't think Glendening, Faksa, Raffl.
Right.
I give those guys a lot of crap. They did very good on the penalty kill tonight. Very happy with it, and the faceoffs too.
And they had a couple of decent ozone shifts, but
But
again, they're just not
again,
really getting much from it.
yeah,
That's the
it's
thing.
just
Which is fine. Which is fine if you're trying to build momentum, I guess. But
well,
again, you would like to see some shots on net.
what that line needs to do is they need to not try and score, and they just need to hope that Miro is on the ice with them, and then just give it to him.
I was honestly expecting him to get the game-winning goal here tonight. We'll talk about that here in a second. Well, let me see. I'm just going to take a look at shots for those three guys real quick. Glendening had 4 shots tonight.
Yeah, he needs to stop. They're
Ruffle,
never gonna go in.
Ruffle had 1 shot, and then Foxa had 2.
They're not gonna
So,
go in though. That's why we got to give to Hasky. Anyway,
well, yeah,
Stars
whatever.
they kind of controlled the first period. They were kind of playing down. They didn't have great chances. They weren't really flying or anything, but the Ducks sucked. It's not good to be a bad team and to play bad. That's a bad combo. But going into the second, I thought they dominated the second. I thought they had a lot of chances and there was no capitalization.
I thought that a lot of the second was some of the same of the first. The Ducks were not playing well. The Stars were just not capitalizing. That's what, and I mean, you could probably say that honestly, yes, about the Stars here, but I don't know. I just felt it was more of the same here especially at the beginning of the second period.
Yeah, towards the end of the second period, I felt like the game was 3-0. And then the Ducks scored, and I was like, what the
Oh
crap?
crap!
We're tied.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I put at the end of the first. Stars not taking advantage. Should be up by more.
Should be up by
Like
3
2
at
or
that point.
3. Yeah, 2 or 3 at the very least 2.
And then I
Um
guess we got to talk about that Ducks goal.
yeah. Real quick before we get to it. Uh I mean, there's some chances here, but Nemestikov with a chance, good save by Gibson. Raffle to Glendening, there was another good save by Gibson. Terry to Zagris, those 2 guys for in the future
That's
are
it.
just going to be insane
Well,
for
that's the
the
whole Anaheim
Ducks.
Ducks. That's their team.
Yeah, and then I put tummy save by Otter because I think Razor mentioned it. And then here's something that really kind of frustrated me is that 14 minutes and 33 seconds, Adam Henrique, who is one of the older guys, one of the veterans on the team, I think he's like 32. He was completely by himself in front of the net with no Stars players around. Absolutely nobody in front with Adam Henrique. And he's one of their goal scorers. He's one of the guys that's going to put the puck in the net for the Anaheim Ducks. And that frustrated me. Peterson would whiff on a shot. Raz would take his first of 2 penalties. Second Anaheim power play. It would eventually become like a 5-on-3.5 when Suter breaks his stick. The Stars do kill the penalty. And then I put, honestly, this game is kind of boring to watch, laugh out loud. So yeah. I don't know how you felt at that point, but I was just like, there's nothing to like, get excited about because it's a 1-0 game. The Ducks are sucking. The Stars are kind of sucking at the same time, and they're just not bearing anything. And they didn't particularly play well tonight either. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, they didn't. I mean, the Ducks were really bad. It was the big thing.
we were just the lesser of 2 evils tonight, I guess.
Well, we're just a better team. Like I feel like both teams did not play well, but the Ducks are just not good.
Somebody had to win.
Somebody had to win. I think that's the way it went. And man, that first Ducks goal, honestly, if you think about it, it's the first gaffe by a goalie we've had this season. In a season that has been full of goalie gaffes. I mean, if you watch Steve's Dangits, it's been a weekly occurrence. So the fact that this is the first one for the Stars, we'll take it. And if it's the only one of the season, we're very happy. So it's crazy. It can't happen, of course. But you know what else can't happen? Only 2 goals of support.
Yeah. And the goal you're talking about, Chris, here is Jamie Drysdale. It bounces off of the boards and somehow makes its way behind Jay Cottinger, which I'm sure he would want that one back.
Yeah, I guess a shot.
Yeah, I guess it's true. That's an interesting question. Is that considered a shot?
I think it is.
It has to be a shot, right? Because it was a goal. I don't know. That we need James, our stats guy, to come on and tell us.
James, is that a shot?
Yeah, James, he's here in the chat listening. Does that count as a shot? You can tell us.
Well, he has 1 goal and 1 shot on goal, so I think it is.
It has to be.
That has to be his 1 shot.
Wouldn't that be so lame to be? That's your only shot. That's your only shot of the night. Is it happens to be a careening
His
puck that goes in behind.
his only shot of the night was unintentional, and
I
it went
know,
in.
completely unintentional. He was looking for a rebound. It was not even a shot. That's funny. And the thing about that though is that Otter never picked it up. He'll want that one back. But the other thing is the Stars kind of put themselves in that situation too. They iced the puck, and the other frustrating thing is they'd been winning, these faceoffs all night, and of course the one faceoff that they don't win that they really need to win happens to go in the back of our net, and
Yep.
that goes 1-1 into the second intermission, and I'm thinking we have not played well. The Anaheim Ducks have sucked. They're going to come out in the third and they're going to win the game. That's honestly what I thought.
I thought that I got punched in the balls. That's what it felt like. So that's all I have. I didn't think we were going to win.
The beginning of the third period, I wrote the shots are 26-10 in favor of the Dallas Stars.
And that's why I thought we weren't going to win. Anytime we outshoot an opponent that bad, no chance.
Last time the Stars had that many shots, we were playing against Carolina and we won the game 4-3. So that was my other thought in the back of my head.
Bones. I don't know what I'm talking about with stats.
James says yes, by the way, Chris. James says yes, it counts as a shot. So.
Thank you, James.
Klinger had a good defensive play about 3.5 minutes in on a Anaheim 2-on-1. Of course, it was Zegras because he's the only guy that can really play for them right now. 5 minutes in, Robo had a chance in the slot from Pavelski, but he missed. And then this was an interesting stat that I saw, on the broadcast. Otter in his last 10 road games, get this, he's 5-4-1. Okay, so that's not all that great, but it's 500 if you count it at the overtime loss as a real loss. But what's really frustrating is his save percentage and his goals against average. Get this, a .937 save percentage and a 2.02 goals against average in his last 10 road games, and he's only won 5 of them. Talk about no goal support on the road.
I mean, way to point out
and yet
the obvious,
somehow
Ryan.
We've won
he
these
has
games.
To play better. He's got to play better. I mean, 2 goals. We can't be expected to score 3 goals a game. That's crazy.
It's ridiculous. I saw those stats, and I'm like, if a goaltender has those stats through the course of a season, he's the Vezina winner. Yep. Hands down. No question. He wins the Vezina.
And Otter can't even win 50% of the games.
Well, I mean, and there's always that one crazy stat that everybody points out. Marty Turco back in the day, I can't remember to save my life what playoff series it was, but he had 3 shutouts and lost the series. 3 shutouts and lost the series.
This proves to you that the Dallas Stars are the same team as they've always been.
From 12 years ago.
Ever since we won the cup, same team.
Same team. Anyways, 7 minutes in, Anaheim is starting to spend more time in the Dallas zone, and I wrote that, and I'm like, here we go. Minute later, I wrote more Anaheim pressure after a good shift in the O-zone by their first line. Mahura had a blast for Anaheim, and Otter had a big rebound on that save. So, kind of scary there. I wish Otter had I don't know what else he's supposed to do, but whatever. But anyways, Anaheim would get their 3rd power play of the evening against Radulov's 2nd penalty for tripping. And on this power play, it would be the best of the 3 power plays that Anaheim would have for the night. But thank God for Jake Ottinger. He had some really big saves on that penalty kill, and the Stars would kill it off.
And from there, I think Otter's going to win us the game. And he kind of does.
Especially in that power play he did.
Until the last goal by the Ducks, which was just a great play.
Seguin would miss the net again.
He's at the top of the crease. It hits nothing. It's harder to hit nothing than it is to hit the net. It's more difficult. And we do it consistently now. It's like a thing.
It's like the one thing we're consistent at.
We found it. We've done it.
We found the consistency. It's just not in a stat that we want. Oh my goodness.
But now we take that, we translate it, boom, golden.
I didn't even see what happened. I thought he hit I thought he hit the net. And then the very next thing, it's like the camera has to like
Keeper just
pan
pans
out and go
away.
and it pans away to the other end of the zone. I'm like, what the heck happened?
There's just like nothing happened. It was like, okay.
Yeah, because I mean, Josh thought so too. He was confused because he was like said Sagan's name really high pitched, like trying to incite excitement into the play, and then what? Where's the puck? Did you hear that? He was like silent for like a good 2 or 3 seconds while the camera was panning over. Nobody knew what had happened.
Darn, the Stars did it again.
Yep,
Oh well.
they did.
Let's keep trying.
But Heiskanen would hit the post about 2 minutes later, and I thought, that's when it really solidified that I was like, "Oh crap, we're really gonna lose the game." 30 seconds later, however, Sekera would score from the slot. It was a flutter puck, and Peterson would get one of the assists. I don't know who would get the other assist there.
Right now, it's showing as unassisted for me for some reason, but I know that's not true because it was a rebound. So I don't know.
Well, I don't think it was a rebound. It was kind of a broken play in front of Gibson, and Sekera just happened to be in the right spot at the right time. Yeah. So maybe it wasn't maybe there was no assist on that goal, but
there's got to be assists on that goal. If it's unassisted, they're wrong. But anyway, then not a minute later, Kevin Shattenkirk with it's a beauty of a deflection. It's a great tip. It's not a good tip. It's amazing. He's full speed, perfect deflection. Nothing Otter can do, but they should never be in that position in the first place.
So, what is the defenseman doing in the slot, tipping a shot?
Being smart, obviously, I guess.
So weird. But anyways, like I got excited for a second. I'm like, oh, okay, we're actually gonna win the game. And then, a minute later, my fears of losing a game to the Anaheim Ducks, who have lost 10 in a row at this point. Now they've lost 11. It's more solidified when they score that game-tying goal. Then Otter would have a really big save on Grant, who is the centerman on the first line. And 2 Anaheim players in front of the net, no Stars. Again, second time I've saw that there's a gasp in defensive coverage from the Stars. And then a minute remaining in the third period, Gibson almost, gifts us the game. He mishandles the puck, and then chaos ensues in front of him. And a couple of players looked like they had chances to shoot, and they didn't.
I almost lost my mind.
I know. That even further solidified my belief that we were going to lose this game.
Well, at that point, I felt comfortable that we were going to overtime. And once we get to overtime, I'm confident we're going to win. So at that point, I was kind of cool. I was kind of chill at that point.
You know what? I kind of, I should feel that way, but because of last year,
it's still,
and all the things I mentioned, right. It still doesn't feel right. Like, okay, like they've lost 10 in a row. We've sucked, did absolutely nothing with all the turnovers that we could have had in the first 2 periods. Otter let in a weird one as the first goal. And it was tied going into the second intermission. I mean, I could keep going with the amount of things that I thought was going against the Stars in tonight's game. And then in overtime, the Stars win off of Jamie Benn's shots. It was a beautiful shot under the blocker, over the pad. And he single-handedly, in the overtime, hands Anaheim their 11th loss in a row. That's insane.
A great shot. We always say this whenever Ben scores like that, but I wish he would shoot more wrist shots. They're so nice.
That looked like 25, 26-year-old Jamie Benn shooting that.
It looked like Art Ross Jamie Benn is what that looked like.
Mm-hmm. It really
I'll tell
did.
you me what.
But, I mean, what do you think overall, Chris? I mean, anything after going through the game summary and discussing all this?
I'm going to fall asleep. I'm going to black out. I'm going to forget either of these games happened, and all I'm going to see is W's, and I'm going to be happy because we did what we needed to do. We took care of business. We got 4 points. We're ahead of the Knights. Who cares?
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Is this whole not winning in regulation going to bite us in the butt? Because I was thinking about this as we were going to overtime.
It's never happened, has it? I don't think any tiebreaker has been decided by regulation wins. ROW.
It can.
It can, but I don't think it ever
has. If at the end of the season we have 83 points and Vegas has 83 points, I'm just making up a number off the top of my head. I know it's going to be more than that. and already Vegas has more regulation wins than we
Yes,
do.
I
I
understand.
think we're at like 24, 25 or
Yeah,
something
we
like
have like
that.
8 overtime wins. But either way, I understand. I don't think there's any way that happens, but it would be the most Dallas Stars way ever to miss the playoffs. The way it would be is we go down to the last game and we know we have to win it in regulation, and then we win in overtime. That would be perfect. That would be poetry.
Oh man. Oh man. Okay, Chris, here's a question for you. Ardell, when do we see Wedgewall again?
Wedgewall he played great. He had an outstanding game, of course, like best run of the month, and Jake had some awesome games. But he is 100% the backup. He is not. There's no 1A, 1B. There is 1 and there is 2. Wedgewall
Yep.
is 2. So next week we play a lot of games. We're gonna see Wedgewall once, maybe twice. But
Don't we
he's
play
the
both
backup.
games this weekend? Saturday and Sunday?
I think we do. We might. I don't remember. Let me take a look real quick.
I would believe so because I think we play San Jose on Saturday and we play
All I know
Seattle on
is
Sunday.
that we play a lot. Yeah, we have back to back. We have San Jose and then Seattle Kraken, and then no 2-day breaks until the 24th.
That's insanely stupid.
We
That's
play
just...
San Jose, Seattle, break game, break game, break game, game, break game, break game, break game, break game, break game, game, break game. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 back-to-backs in the last month of the season. All against bad teams.
Mhm.
Nope, that's a lie. 3 against bad teams. One of them's against Calgary. They're pretty decent, I think.
They're first in the Pacific.
Yeah.
They're a good team.
It was a joke. But yeah. Other than that, our schedule's great.
I think we see Wedgewall against Seattle. That's me. And then we see Otter again on Saturday against San Jose. But
Okay.
I mean that's the logical thing. So that's the thing that's not going to happen, right?
And man,
So Wedgewall is going to start both games. How about that?
definitely.
I'm
But
being
while
sarcastic
we're
again.
wrapping it up, we think the 9 p.m. starts are late. Saturday night, 9:30.
Yeah, boy.
We'll see you
It
at
was
1 a.m.
Yeah. What I mean,
Question
but
mark?
hashtag question mark. But it's a Saturday, so Saturdays are better. These games are killing me being this late, but it is what it is, and we love doing what we do. So, anything else, Chris? Oh wait, I forgot to mention. Ardell asked, "Where's James? He's been MIA. He's been working a lot. Like he's been banking.
And
So
he's been making lots of dough.
don't. Yeah, I don't blame him one bit.
James, did you get it? Did you get it, James? James,
That's
works at
my job.
Domino's.
That's my job to say dad jokes. you
Domino's has
idiots.
pizza dough.
Oh my gosh, you're an idiot.
We got 4 points out of 4 points. On to San Jose. Wrap it up, Ryan.
We'll see you guys on Sunday morning. I had to catch myself. Sunday morning at 1 a.m. All right, and that's gonna be it for us tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you go and use the promo code THPN the next time you go and use the DraftKings app for a special little offer from them. That lets them know we're the ones that sent you. Please go and take a look at StarCasterMarksShop.com for all of our merch. We're on our first phase. Thank you for all those that have already gone and ordered stuff. We appreciate you guys doing that. And along with Chris, I'm Ryan. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good evening.
We still do it for bad wins. GG, boys. Yaga yeet.